Peace be with you. Love be with you. And wisdom too. Book 1, The Cleanse. This is a book I've been excited to get into. The Gospel of Peace is kind of could be named something similar, except it's an older version. So I'm excited to see what they have to say and what they figured out. This book is dedicated to the source of all life, our divine Mother and Father, and all the sons of God who have purified themselves before us and have come back to help us do likewise. Also to all the strong, wonderful souls who are willing to purify themselves so that they may be instruments of love. To those who read this book, are encouraged by it, and demonstrate the wisdom and strength to cleanse and purify as they strive for honesty, integrity, and love. Though we may not have met, you are my brother or sister. We are friends and more, and I pray that you also will be rewarded along your path with experiences of love, such as this story records. Together, we work to make this world a better place to live. I thank God for the presence of these undaunted lights of mankind. The Cleanse, deep, effective, intestinal cleaning. The Cleanse and Purify Thyself book series presents a method of self-healing and achieving exceptional health Mother Nature's way through complete intestinal cleansing and digestive rejuvenation. The intestinal tract and digestive system serve as the hub of the entire body. All organs, glands, and even our brains, heart, and cells are totally dependent upon a well-functioning digestive system. The purpose of this book is to encourage you to cleanse yourself, and then to replace it all with unconditional love and joy for everyone and everything. This is not medical advice, not a prescription, just good, uncommon sense. You clean out your home, you clean out your car, and it is far more important and beneficial to your well-being to clean yourself from the inside out. God made Mother Nature. Very detailed table of contents. Chapter 1. May the truth be known. There is a principle which is a bar against all information, which is proof against all argument, and which cannot fail to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. The principle is condemnation before investigation. Herbert Spencer. If an angel came and gave a formula that would cure almost any disease, it would be against the law to claim its effectiveness. But explaining in simple terms how we destroy our own bodies and minds, and how we may reverse the destruction, leaving out claims, will hopefully not offend the AMA, FDA, or the drug companies. Will it? Though our freedom of choice In selecting the treatments we believe in to heal our bodies has largely been taken from us. We fortunately live in a country that still has remnants of freedom of speech. Unfortunately, people in this country are not invited to use a system of healing that has proven to be effective in reversing and preventing chronic degenerative diseases. Our society has been designed to support the increase of sickness rather than health. Every effective method that can accentuate true health is met with inexorable obstacles, initiated by an invisible tyrannical influence. Truly, our society blindly follows the self-destructive precepts that lead to the declining health of our nation. He must be talking about America. He must be talking about America. Mm-hmm. Living the lifestyles that led to rampant disease is the vogue, and most people dread to be out of style. In fact, they are terribly discouraged from doing so, oftentimes by force. For beneficial lifestyles do not produce the massive profits that the creators of our modern medical system desire to generate. And a truly effective system could interfere with the consistent increase of that flow of profits. You could say that flow of false profits. If you consider people part of that product. The health professionals make money on the sick, not the healthy. If there were a system that perpetuated radiant health, there would be little use for this book or the vast multi-trillion-dollar conventional allopathic medical system. How sincerely do you follow conventional medicine? How sincerely do those who follow conventional medicine want people to heal? And I want to point out that there's another big thing going on, and that is there's a huge satanic and Luciferian agenda to allow these diseases to grow out of control within us, because these people worship these organisms. I mean, it's a sick, twisted, weird world we live in. Evidence clearly reveals, no matter what the disease, as long as a person has a health promoting attitude, a strong desire to be healthy, the willingness to do whatever is necessary to achieve good health, the relentless, determined drive to seek out the truth, the discipline to apply relevant knowledge, and the willingness to forgive and love, he or she will bring into his or her experience that which is desired. If only health professionals would espouse this truth, the door would open for the making of a healthy nation. Too often people lose because their doctors tell them that there isn't a cure, and in many cases they are told that there is no hope for survival, that they are doomed to a premature death. This is a common occurrence in the medical profession, simply because the medical profession uses methods that are designed to modify symptoms rather than to eliminate cause, thereby ignoring diet, nutrition, toxins, congestion, and the mind, emotions, and the soul. This prevents permanent healing and perpetuates a fat income. There is no such thing as incurable disease. But there are people who have learned to deny their own awesome creative power, and thus fail to apply it. No matter what the disease, no matter how terrible it has become, or the stage of its development. Someone has risen above it and found the remedy. In fact, there has never been a disease that someone hasn't conquered. There have been tens of thousands of people considered incurable, some even in the later stages of dying, who suddenly and miraculously became well. Even in the so-called later stages, when there appeared no help, people have reversed the condition and gone on to live healthy, happy lives. Except for their actions, there was nothing unique about them. We all have the innate ability to overcome any disease. But we must use effective methods. We must remove the cause and feed the body the nutrition it needs. The 4 steps in overcoming disease. The first step in overcoming disease is to put a stop to its cause. This always begins by changing the habitual patterns of thought and feelings, which have been the inevitable primal antecedent the primary agitator, the core issue, the core cause for the decomposition of the body, or dying, begins with suicidal thoughts and feelings. That is, feelings of hate, anger, fear, criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame, self-pity, jealousy, resentment, and depression. These conditions decrease the life energy within. How many was that? Let's see. Because this is what I've identified in the world around me, is people are absolutely suicidal. This is okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Just good to keep in mind. These conditions decrease the life and energy within. Good health requires good thoughts and good feelings. Love, peace, harmony, poise, gratitude, and praise expand the life and light in the body, building energy, vitality, and happiness. One must be at peace with one's inner self. We must face our denials and develop honesty and integrity, and also eliminate selfishness. The second step towards perfect health of the body is to stop ingesting anything, including food, that does not contain enzymes, life force, and vital nutrients. In other words, avoid putting into your mouth anything other than fresh, raw foods, since cooked and frozen foods are lifeless or dead foods, and they cause mucus, toxins, congestion, and excess acids. Excess acids are responsible for congestion of the intestinal tract, thence onto the rest of the body. This substance is known as mucosal plaque and significantly contributes to 90% of all disease, even disease of the mind and heart. For the digestive tract is the hub of the body, upon which every cell and organ depends. That's really helpful for me, because right now, in my life, I typically once a day eat at least one dead meal by the end of the day, and I need more reasons to step away from the dead food. And I'm having simple dead food, like I'm eating rice or millet with some seasoning, and it still causes me, still screwing up my body and my mind. I can tell. The third step towards overcoming disease is to remove the congestion, toxins, acids, and everything else from anywhere and everywhere within the body and mind that contributes towards disease. Some health professionals choose to address only the local area of obvious trouble alone. But as Bernard Jensen likes to say, if you step on a cat's tail, It's the other end that yells. Indeed, there is no single part of the body that is not affected by the whole, and vice versa. So all congestion, toxins, and negativity must be removed, and it should begin with removal of mucoid plaque. The fourth step towards lasting health is to then supply the body with all the needed elements. This includes life force, enzymes, essential nutrients, and positive thoughts. And most important of all is love, and lots of it. But it is extremely difficult to successfully complete this step until the third step has been accomplished, or is well on its way. That is the truth of it. It's hard to love yourself when yourself is filled with a bunch of yuck. It's like loving the room you're in. If it's a hoarder's wreck, you will feel less comfortable in your mind and body. And the same thing goes for your insides. Nature's own remedy, a logical process. Isn't this sensible? This logical process, the above 4 steps, is nature's own remedy, and it is nature's own remedy, and it is within the grasp of each of us. Yet it is almost entirely neglected by health professionals. This explains the uncountable failures, for even when there is success in curing one ailment, it is rarely more than a brief time before the patient develops another ailment. This is because the symptom alone was treated, not the cause, not the mind, not the subconscious, and not the soul. The present medical treatments for chronic and degenerative diseases are a contemptible disgrace, especially with heart disease and cancer. One prominent cancer researcher, Dr. Hardin Jones, said, "My studies have provided conclusively that untreated cancer victims actually live up to 4 times longer than treated individuals. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, radical surgery on cancer patients does more harm than good." Wow. Wow. I have to read that too. I think it's too late. I think she already went into surgery. Love, 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 love. Peace, 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 peace. Wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. It's so hard to know all this stuff and just know it for yourself. Many medical students and even textbooks verify Dr. Jones' findings. For an example, Yamada reveals in his medical textbook that there is no indication at all that patients treated with chemotherapy have any increase of survival. He also explains that even in cases where tumors respond to treatments, there is no indication of living longer. Then why use it? A medical textbook on hematology reveals that the use of chemotherapy for several diseases has caused serious and often fatal results. This textbook explains the major risk is the treatment rather than the disease. Imagine, if you will, having a serious disease that results in high percentage of fatality, and then being treated with chemicals that cause an even higher fatality rate than the disease. Now, does that make any sense at all? Well, it makes perfect sense when you hear the quotes of the medical establishment from 100 years ago, medical elite, suggesting that they were going to cause cancer among the population, and when the population, through the mechanisms of silent weapons, they're going to cause cancer in people through the mechanisms of silent weapons for quiet wars, chemical warfare essentially, and that when people came to beg for help, that they would help them by giving them more cancer and even more toxins to kill them faster. So it makes sense to me. Modern medical science is the only system that advocates using treatments that are worse than the disease. That's because the medical system sees people with disease as filled with parasitic organisms, and they fear them, really. According to Edward Griffin, author of World Without Cancer, I'm looking out at my goat, making sure he's good to go. My buddy. According to Edward Griffin, author of World Without Cancer, a revealing and stimulating book that I urge you to read, when skin cancer is it puts just a big blank line there, because he really wants to encourage you to read. So that's the sentence I just read, and then after that goes that blank line. It's like if you want to know what it says, you're gonna have to go figure it out. Okay, so my bad. Here we go. When skin cancer is excluded, the average cut rate of cancer by medical doctors is 17%. Would you take your car to a mechanic if he claimed a mere 17% cure rate of transmissions? I would suggest it is time to consider other methods. The medical religion claims no cure for cancer, and what's more, no one else can either. It's against the law, even for those who know the cure. Therefore, I thereby announce that I do not claim that my program will cure cancer. Should you find your cancer disappearing when you use this system, I will not accept responsibility. You'll have to take the credit yourself. The cure of cancer or any other disease has been known for decades among a few rare health experts who understand disease and its cause. But it is also unlawful in most states for those experts to treat cancer unless they are MDs, and even the MDs who do understand are greatly hampered by our government and our medical authorities. What a crime against the American people, to think that there are those who can more adequately treat cancer by using non-conventional methods, but who are not legally permitted to do so. I had better be careful here. I had better not say that all cancers can be cured. No disease is curable if it's gone too far, or if the patient's attitude will not permit healing. But based on my studies and the people I've known who have conquered cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and leukemia, and based on the numerous books I've read and health professionals I've talked to, the following is undeniably true. America must look to alternative healing methods if it wants to return to the healthy nation it once was. There are some shocking governmental statistics to support this statement. Before we go to some facts which are related to that, I'm going to read what's on the bottom here. In 1999, my staff researched statistical data from the National Cancer Institute to determine their actual percentages of success with allopathic cancer treatments. This is going to be out of the books Yarmanda, and the next one will be Richard Lee. After meticulously struggling through hundreds of pages of decoys, it became clear that they were hiding the true facts with ingenious ploys. Finally, after weeks of work, we were able to see through their deceptions. We found that allopathic treatments for cancer were 19% effective. However, that also includes non-fatal cancers. Therefore, we were able to determine the exact percentage, but Therefore, we were unable to determine the exact percentage, but it must be somewhere between 5 and 19%. For some more information, read Uncreating Disease by Dr. Richard Anderson, Mount Shasta, California, Christobe Publishing, projected publication 2002. This statement does not intend to suggest that this program would cure cancer, only that body cures. My observations indicate to me that other treatments are necessary to successfully treat cancer. However, I believe that cleansing the bowels and removing all toxins is one of the most important steps towards strengthening the immune system and assisting the body to heal itself. Some facts. The U.S. Public Health Service revealed the rate of health deterioration of the American people out of 100 participating nations of the world. America was the healthiest in 1900. In 1920, we dropped to the second highest nation. During World War II, we went back to number 1. My friends are saying hi to each other. And you guess what that was? That's when sugar and meat were hard to obtain, and family vegetable gardens were common. In 1978, we dropped to 79th. In 1980, we were 95th. In 1987, we hit rock bottom. That's number 100 on the list. Yet we are said to be the wealthiest nation in the world. Are we also the most gullible? Who or what is responsible? Here are some clues as to what may be responsible. Leading causes of death in the U.S. 1996. All causes. Heart disease. 2,200,602. 903. Cancer. 700,033. Regular cancer. 544,000. Medical drugs. 162,000. Stroke, 160,000. Infections in hospitals, 150,000. Lung disease, 106,000. Accidents, 93,000. Pneumonia, 82,000. The U.S. Public Health Service quoted in Health Realities by Queen and Company, also Victor Erlon's Destruction of Your Own Natural Protective Mechanisms, Kansas City, Missouri, V.E. Irons, Inc., 1995. Distributors of the Irons book may be reached at 800-544-8144. The source of all figures except as indicated is the National Center for Health Statistics through the U.S. Department of Health and Human Health Service Center for Disease Control. See the webpage of Earl Mindell, PhD, www.drmindell.com. Journal of Community Health, 1980, Spring, Volume 5, page number 3. Volume number 3, pages 149 to 158. We have some more here. Hydronic disease, doctor cause, 80,000. Diabetes, 61,000. HIV, 32,000. Suicide, 30,000. Liver disease, 35,000. Today, admitted conventionally medical causes caused death in 1996. Total admitted conventional medical caused death in 1996 was 392,000, which equals 17% of the deaths in America. Is this figure accurate? Not by any means, for it does not include the many deaths caused by failure to treat cause and secondary side effects from medications. Editor's note: throughout this book series, 3 types of bullets are used. A box bullet denotes information or instructions, a diamond bullet indicates warning information, and a star shows benefits or blessings. More scary true facts include the following. Please check the boxes that you would like to see changed. Over 2,556 deaths a year are caused by the use of over-the-counter drugs. In the last 10 years, more than 18 million Americans suffered serious toxic side effects from medical drugs and had to be hospitalized. The number now averages over 2 million Americans a year. 1/3 of the people admitted to hospitals are there because of the toxic side effects of medications, and nearly 700,000 Americans die each year of secondary side effects from medications. Just some statistical, not places where you can find more information. Report Report and Health Realities by Queen and Company is stated this information is from the U.S. News and World Report. Even more current information which confirms the conclusion that medical drugs are extremely dangerous is reflected in further statistics that we have recently come to my attention. See Rick Wise, Correctly Prescribed Drugs Take Heavy Toll, Washington Post, 1998, April 15th. About 90% of patients who visit doctors have conditions that will either improve on their own or that are out of reach of modern medicine's ability to solve. Compared to home births, babies born in hospitals are 6 times more likely to suffer distress during labor and deliveries, 8 times more likely to get caught in the birth canal, 4 times more likely to need resuscitation, 4 times more likely to become infected, and 30 times more likely to be permanently injured. And mothers who give birth in hospitals are 3 times more likely to hemorrhage. Yay for home birth. It's our son. About 90% of surgery is unnecessary. Not my first son. Known and admitted American deaths caused by conventional medicine is 6.77 times more than World War II annual American casualties. Wow. I'm going to read that again. Known and admitted American deaths caused by conventional medicine is 6.77 times more than World War II annual American casualties. Are Americans at war with the medical doctors and or drug companies? Imagine a war where one side doesn't have enough sense to know that their enemies are killing them. And if that isn't bad enough, imagine that the side that is losing is financially and socially supporting their enemies in their own destruction and encouraging their friends, family, and even their children to do the same. Has our society gone totally insane, or is it just deeply programmed? It's called eugenics, baby. Why don't you kill me? I mean them. How about no one? It is estimated that over 1,000 babies in America die from DPT vaccine every year, and over 12,000 are permanently damaged, and approximately 20% of American children suffer from a developmental disability as a result of vaccines every year. Pressure from parents who have experienced death and disability of their children from vaccines caused Congress to adapt National Childhood Vaccination Compensation Law, authorizing payment of damages to children harmed by immunization. However, they conveniently forget to convey this knowledge to the public and apparently to doctors who administer vaccines. The term developmental disability is commonly used to include mentally retardation, blindness, deafness, autism, epilepsy, learning disabilities, and emotional instability. Future juvenile delinquents, career criminals, those demonstrating abnormal social behaviors, and those who are immune deficient may also categorize as developmentally disabled. At most, on a daily basis, we are all exceedingly impressed with the incredible achievements in the field of medical surgery. But in other fields, such as the treatments for chronic and degenerative disease, the crimes against life are endless, as the above atrocities indicate. Investigation reveals succinctly and emphatically that the medical industry has succumbed to the hypnotic temptations of wealth, power, and vanity. It is obvious in the best interest of conventional medicine for practitioners to remain blind to the efficient remedies. Yes, even at the cost of ceaseless suffering and death of millions of people and innocent creatures of God. The fault is not with the millions of doctors, nurses, and others who do their best to alleviate suffering. The enemy is the system and the money-mongers who manipulate and perpetuate it. Most doctors and their staffs are outstanding and compassionate individuals, and we need to recognize this. They do what they do because they are taught to do so, just as the majority of society has also accepted the illusions that conventional medicine is a benefit for everyone, just as they have accepted suicidal behaviors as the norm. It's time for our programmed and brainwashed society to be awakened. In the process of awakening, we must remember to remain calm and not allow ourselves to become overly angered by what we may see. Truly, there is a place for everything. Many people consider the vaccination of children the worst crime in the history of mankind. Vaccines may be one of the primary causes of the explosion of disease in the Western world. Vaccines are unnatural toxic filth, and it has recently become discovered that they mutate the immune system into impotency. No one really knows how many people have died from vaccines. Undoubtedly millions. There is a great deal of controversy about vaccines, but those who do not research are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that vaccines are far more harmful than the diseases they purportedly eliminate. In my opinion, but those who do the research are convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt that vaccines are far more harmful than the diseases they purport to eliminate. In the opinion of many doctors, scientists, and researchers, the medical propaganda about vaccines is mostly unscientific and in many cases fraudulent. There's no doubt that many thousands of children, as well as adults, are being permanently harmed and oftentimes killed by vaccines. This is far more common than people think. Those who wish to investigate before they receive another injection can read some of the books about the subjects listed in the recommended reading section at the back of this book. Take away the profit made from vaccines and vaccines would disappear. Vaccines are not beneficial except perhaps in a few rare instances. They're beneficial they're largely beneficial in some of the agendas of the elite. They do, however, benefit those who make them and sell them. A departure from nature. Since 1900, the basic, sensible theories of health care have changed dramatically. The major change was the shift from natural to unnatural, from using harmless and beneficial herbs to unnatural and harmful drugs. Accompanying this shift was the onset of processed foods, the use of preservatives and other unnatural chemicals sprayed on foods, especially herbicides and pesticides, deadly poisons, polluted air and chlorinated and fluorinated water, and now electronic poisoning. This unnatural approach to life has had its detrimental effects not only upon the American people, but the entire world. In my opinion, as long as our approaches to healing, except in rare cases, involves the use of drugs, chemicals, radiation, and scalpels, true health will never be obtained. If we sincerely want to bring the American people back to health, or if we personally wish to reclaim our own perfect health, we must stop using drugs and chemicals that pollute, suppress, and weaken our bodies. We must return to the natural methods that our Creator designed and created, and that obviously means using herbs and other natural medicines that cleanse, purify, and strengthen the body. The active ingredient of pesticides is arsenic, a deadly poison. Chlorine in water is known to cause cancer. We have chlorinated water in the little town that I'm in. I'm way out in the country, but I'm in town. Actually, that's way out in the country now, and they chlorinate their water. So we use an Ayurvedic herb called alma, which has a potent amount of vitamin C in it, and you just put that in the water, and it has a chemical reaction with chlorine where it makes chlorine just disappear. And you can use orange peels for the same thing. Fluoride is a deadly poison, even more deadly than lead. Sodium fluoride is harmful to teeth and the mind. Calcium fluoride is the only fluoride that is beneficial for teeth. Unfortunately, and evidently without complete investigation, the FDA approved fluoridation, and sodium fluoride, rather than calcium fluoride, was added to the water systems of major American cities. Eventually, the truth came out that the use of sodium fluoride in tap water led to an increase of tooth decay and 12% increase of monoglorid of children, and a massive increase of Alzheimer's disease. There is evidence that sodium fluoride not only dulls the mind but also makes one susceptible to suggestion. Now that the facts are known, why isn't the FDA doing something about it? This is not to say that we should never use drugs or surgery, but that we should use them only with great discretion and as a last resort, and only when we are certain that there is nothing else that can work. This would be rare if when we are certain that nothing else can work. This would be rare if natural healing were used properly, but there are some times when only a drug will stop pain, and there are times when that coffee enemas stop pain better than any drug. But this entire situation has become terribly out of hand, and millions of people die unnecessarily, and many more millions suffer because of it. We'll be taking a look at chapter 2 in the future. Those are some powerful thoughts and words for sure. I look forward to more of them, and I look forward to any of your questions or suggestions. And I sincerely thank you for spending some time with me. May peace be with you.